This is definitely one of my favorite episodes in this drama. I mean, the emotions that came out of this episode, just having the emotions coming out when we saw Vincenzo and his mom having their moment, just going out for a stroll slash walk, having the emotion of seeing Myeong and Junwoo celebrating after the murder of Vincenzo's mom. And the emotions that came out after Vincenzo found out that his mom was murdered, going to the murderer's house, beating him, and having Vincenzo not only beating him, but also following him slash chasing him to the one who ordered him to kill his mom, and having Vincenzo walking in to Junwoo's place, shooting the guy, and that emotion on his face, he was full mafia mode. So those emotions coming out from those scenes was just wow. So at the beginning of the episode, we're back on the roof. The cops accused Vincenzo for killing Mr. O. He was being handcuffed and I kind of thought he was going to surrender, but instead he did get handcuffed, but then he fought back and ran away. And I'm thinking, oh, the situation just got worse because not only he was accused, but also he fought against cops, hit him, and ran away, pretty much resisting arrest. So as he was running away, we have Sokdo, who pretty much encountered the guy that came out of Vincenzo's office. He was thinking, who are you? You don't live here. And then they start to fight. Sokdo, we know that he could fight, but every time we saw him fight, he always got his ass kicked. So at that moment, I'm thinking, oh man, he's going to get his butt whooped. But no, he held his own. He pretty much choked him. And his boy, I forgot his name already. It's the Seroi lookalike. Sunam. That's his name, I think. Yeah. It is his name. He came in, he said, oh yeah, I got the beer you wanted. And then he's like, oh good, make use of it. Knock out by beer bottle. And at the same time, Vincenzo went into Hongshik's van. And Hongshik, he was kind of confused. He was like, oh, what happened? And then Vincenzo told him, drive. And then he goes, ah, and then he just drives away. And now fast forward, Sokdo, Sunam, and Chayoung, they pretty much have the random guy tied up and his mouth taped, and they were trying to figure out who sent them. And what's funny is that they asked him questions, but he didn't answer, and Sokdo continued to hit him. To be fair, I'm not trying to be on the bad guy's side, but to be fair, you ask him questions, but his mouth is taped up, so you're not going to get any answers. And then after that, they brought the random guy to Vincenzo. Vincenzo wanted answers, so he decided to do it his own way inside Sokdo's car. And what's funny, when Sokdo realized that he was going to use his car as like a interrogation room, he was like, oh man, I just had it washed up, cover the seats. And then right after he got the answers, so Vincenzo, Chayoung, Sokdo, Sunam, and Hongshik decided to go where his friends were. And they did. They pretty much busted through the door. They beat him up. Mostly Vincenzo and Chayoung was watching, which was pretty hilarious. And then they pretty much got the evidence. They brought the crooks to the cops and they told the cops, this is what happened. They pretty much killed Mr. O at his building and then went to the plaza and pretty much framed Vincenzo. That was pretty much the gist of it. And they also gave the cops more evidence. But since they have a good history of cops being, how should I put it, dirty, they decided to keep a copy of the evidence just in case. Good. The next moment I want to talk about is that sweet, heartwarming moment when Chayoung and Vincenzo decided to take Gyeongja for a nice day out. And the first thing they went to was a photo studio. They took pictures and we saw Vincenzo and his mom take their first pictures together. As of right now, it is their first. I mean, I'm pretty sure as mom and kid, they probably took pictures before, but this is the first that we've seen as a family. And they do take their first pictures, which was, again, very heartwarming. And then they decided to take a stroll slash walk. Chayoung decided that Vincenzo and Gyeongja should take this walk together just those two. And then they have their tearjerker moment. It was a tearjerker moment. This moment doesn't need any explanation, in my opinion. I mean, if you know their story, if you've been watching this drama since episode 1 till now, you can understand the emotions that were coming out of this scene. And me explaining it won't be good enough. Even if I had it written down from like line to line, it still wouldn't be good enough. So yeah, the only thing I'm gonna say about this scene was it was just a tearjerker. And then after their moment, Chaeyoung did insist Vincenzo calling her mom, and I do believe we all think so. Like he should have before it's too late. I mean, she doesn't have much time. Well, before what we already know, like she doesn't have much time left, and we know that Myeong Hee has a target on her. So yeah, just we want Vincenzo to call her mom before it's too late. And then after watching this episode, yeah, it was late. Before I start talking about Myeong Hee and Junwoo's situation with Vincenzo, which leads to the ending of this episode, I want to talk real quick about Hanso. So we're back at the office with Chaeyoung, Jusong, and Vincenzo. Here comes Hanso in this 80s, if not 90s getup. And it was his disguise so people can't recognize him. I'm like, dude, anyone with eyes can recognize you, you know? So he comes in, he's asking for coffee, pretty much the same coffee that he gifted them, but Jusong was like, it was hard to make, so I just sold it online. So he comes in, he tells them that he was the one that reported the gas leak to the firefighters, which saved their lives. And they did thank him. Technically, Vincenzo didn't really thank him, but pretty much Hanso is like, he wants this team up. You know, he wants to team up with Vincenzo and the others to take down Junwoo. It's not a bad idea. And he also tells Vincenzo that, hey, Junwoo and Myeong Hee know that there's gold in the plaza and the file too, which eventually Myeong Hee and Junwoo does find out. And Vincenzo, he kind of figured, you know, since Myeong Hee did send some goons to try to kill him / frame him, so it kind of makes sense. And then eventually they do agree for a team up. And now for Myeong Hee's and Junwoo's situation with Vincenzo, they were trying to figure out how is Vincenzo getting the upper hand all this time. And Myeong Hee figured that maybe Vincenzo has the guillotine file. That's why he always has the upper hand. So Junwoo figured that, okay, maybe we need to use the most effective method. And that was to put a target on the plaza. And their plan was to get a fake gas inspector, which I should have suspected something. Because what Hisu said, when she saw the gas inspector, she said, oh, did the previous one quit? That sentence alone should have been a red alert. So what the fake one did, came into the snack bar, cut the gas line, and placed a watch that sparks fire. Now the watch alone, it'll just spark fire. It's not going to do much. But when you put it near gas, of course, it's going to be a big explosion. Now, while that's happening, the tenants are at Toto's restaurant celebrating. The fake gas inspector is outside of the building. She activates the whatever device that she put to cut the gas line, and then she activated the watch, which was, I think, 5 minutes. And then as the gas was slowly leaking through the entire building, the tenants smelled it. They were trying to figure out what's going on. Firefighters came in, and then they had to leave the building ASAP. And then Vincenzo was trying to figure out, okay, how, like, what's going on? And he followed the firefighters to the snack bar, realized the gas has been cut, and sees there's a watch with a timer. He grabs the watch, ran off, throws it out the window, breaks the window. And then the watch, as time goes down to 0, it just sparks fire. Yeah, it's not much, again, but if you add it with the gas leak, yeah, that whole plaza would have been gone. After that scene, we do find out that Hanso was the one that called the firefighters, and Junwoo's pissed off. He even threw whatever he threw, hit Hanso on the head, and he started bleeding. We are starting to see Hanso becoming a very likable, good character. And, I mean, he's only going crazy because of Seung-gyok's influence and Junwoo's influence as well. That's the only reason why he's going crazy, because of those two people. But if you put him with Vincenzo and be on the good guy's side, I do believe that he is a good guy and he wants to operate the company properly. So I think everything he said I think in the last episode was true. He wants to operate Babil in a more proper way and not this dirty way that Junwoo is doing. Right after Hansol left the office, Myeong Hee comes into the office, have pictures of Gyeongja, showed it to Junwoo, and I'm thinking, oh man, this is gonna get really ugly. So what Myeong Hee did was she met up with a guy who just got out of jail, and it was one of the cellmates that was ordered to kill the other cellmate in a previous episode, which was a long episode ago. So she met up with him, and yeah, they have a drink, but then we find out that he was ordered to kill Gyeongja. And we did see the murder scene, and just seeing, well, not only seeing, but hearing the beep, beep, beep sound, and I'm thinking, the first thing that came into my mind was, Vincenzo never got to call her mom in front of her. That was the first thing that came into my head. And then the second thing was, Myeong Hee, you're gonna get it. If Vincenzo was holding back before, and I believe he was, he's not gonna hold back now. Because you've crossed the line so many times, but now you've crossed the line so far, there's no way turning back. So Vincenzo went to the hospital. He walks past his mom's murderer. As he was walking towards her room, he sees people are panicking and running to his mom's room. He finds out that his mom has been murdered, and with the surveillance camera, he figured out who it was, and he realized, oh man, I just walked past my mom's murderer. And then eventually he goes mafia mode. He puts on pretty much a suit, walks to the guy's house, and just beats him up. And he doesn't use any weapons. No guns, no stick, no nothing, just bare hands. And he just beats him, and you can see on his face, because Vincenzo, he doesn't usually show a lot of emotions. But in this episode, he showed a lot, especially when he was beating up his mom's murderer. Just bam, bam, bam. It's almost like every punch just got harder and harder and harder. Then after that, after he was done punching him, he did tie him up to a chair. He asked him questions. One question he kept asking was, who ordered you to do it? And the guy was like, no one, no one. But every time he didn't get an answer, he kept breaking his finger. Ooh, mafia mode right there. And then after that, we see a scene of the guy running, and right behind him is Vincenzo following. So he's pretty much following him to the person who ordered the murder of his mom. And then obviously we do know it's Myeong Hee. And as he was walking, he see the guards. He beats up the guards. I don't know, it was like maybe 4 or 5 of them. And then inside the room where Hansol and Junwoo, Myeong Hee, and Seungyeok were drinking, here comes a bloody dude scaring everyone. And then out of nowhere, we hear a gunshot, bang! And Vincenzo just shot him right in front of everyone. Blood splatters on Myeong Hee. And then Vincenzo coming in just like full mafia mode, not caring what he's gonna do next, scaring Myeong Hee. And I'm thinking, that's what you get. You know, you've crossed the line so far now. There's no turning back. He's gonna get you. Now, my prediction was gonna happen in 2 weeks, because next week they're not gonna premiere the next episodes. So I don't think Vincenzo is going to kill Myeong Hee. That'll be too easy. You know, he has said this before. Killing you right then and there is too easy. But the fact that his mom is also in the equation, he could throw that out the window, and he could murder her right then and there. But that makes him a murderer, and there are witnesses right there, Junwoo, Hansol, and Seungyeok. So, yeah. I mean, there's a possibility that he may pull the trigger, and there's not. It's hard to say at this point, because anything can happen. This was a crazy episode. The emotions that came out of certain scenes was just, wow. I mean, just the scenes from the last scene when Vincenzo coming in with mafia mode, the scene of seeing his mom being murdered, and just hearing the beep, beep, beep sound. Oh, man. The scene between Vincenzo and his mom was such a tear-jerking moment. That scene alone does not need me to explain anything. Just watch it, understand what's going on, and that's all you need. And again, this was a crazy episode. I can't believe we have to wait 2 weeks now. But, I mean, I feel like it's going to be worth it because the producers want to make sure that the finale will be one hell a finale. And I'm hoping that they don't disappoint because so far, the way they started, the way it's at right now, is just amazing. So, yeah, that's pretty much the gist of the episode. If there's anything else I might have missed, please leave it in the comments below. Man, this episode just doesn't fail to shock you in every single way. I mean, it can make you cry, it can make you happy, laugh. Oh, man. So anyway, if you guys like this review, leave a like, comment down below, and subscribe. See ya.